to be from reliable sources. However, no responsibility is assumed for inaccuracies. No statement made on this broadcast should be construed as a specific recommendation of a particular investment product. Views expressed are those of the speakers and do not necessarily represent those of CBS Radio. Use only as directed.
Smiles, everyone. Smiles. And prepare yourself for...
Show me the money!
Ladies and gentlemen, the radio broadcast experience designed to keep your wallet in top condition. It's Talkin' Money with Jeff Tarbell.
Talkin' money. Talkin' money. More money, more money, more money.
And now entering the studio, your guru for fiscal fitness, Jeff Tarbell.
I'm still asleep from all my turkey. Give me a break. How you doing?
Good morning.
We are back. I think our little text line there maybe is on turkey break still.
On turkey break?
Yeah, that's okay. And maybe everybody's probably out shopping and stimulating the economy today. It may just be you and I talking to one another again. How are you doing? We got phone lines that look like they work and text line that looks like it doesn't, but we'll figure it out. You got it in there? Okay. Well, as long as you got it in there. We'll give away, maybe we could get into some ski passes. I know it's going to snow eventually, because if not, I drove over Folsom Dam last night. We'll be drinking dirt for the rest of the...
Drinking dirt.
It is going to be ugly.
Nice.
We don't get some water here. I think I'm going to I have a little well on my property. I think I might start just collecting the water in a little bucket just in case we need to sell that by the gallon. And I don't drink that
I'm just going to go back to Hawaii.
You are?
Yeah. There's plenty of water over there.
Yeah, but it's all in the ocean.
No, it rains every day in Kauai.
Oh, yeah, we're in Kauai. Yeah, it's true. In Kauai. Hey, we can start every show the same way. If Chris is in there, there's got to be something on his mind. We were off for a week last week. He's got to be all pent up in there. What's happening?
Not much.
No?
One thing I want to say is something that I hear a lot here at the radio station is people saying like, oh, these football players today, they wouldn't make it in the NFL in the 60s. Those are tough guys. They would never make it. Well, your average 60s player, their average lineman was about 220 and ran like a 7
That's like me.
40-yard dash. Yeah.
Exactly like me.
The average linebacker in the NFL is about 250, 260, and they're faster than the wide receivers back then.
Yep.
So I don't think there's anything to say that they wouldn't make it back then. I don't think any of the 60s players would survive now. They would just be destroyed. You would just see them in a pile, left up right in front of them. Have to. It would just be an
ugly mess.
An ugly mess.
Right. So have you been watching the? Who's getting just a tremendous amount of good publicity is Warren Smith and the soccer group, the Republic FC. I mean, it's like they're in the paper every week, which is.
MLS is talking about them. They have like a weekly report. They were talking about the Republic.
And so I caught part of the story. Are they in fact going to put up a facility at Cal Expo? Is that a done deal?
Cal Expo needs to make the final vote on it, but it looks like it's going to happen.
Yeah, why would they say no? I mean, there's nothing going on out there.
I know.
9/10 out of the year. So, and speaking of soccer, I must come clean, and I'm not a big soccer fan, but when was it? It was so it would have been 2 weeks ago, a week ago Friday. Went down. My nephew plays on the Granite Bay soccer team, varsity team, and they played Jesuit down in Pleasant Grove, Consumers River, down south there, and that was for the D1 finals, and that was one of the single best sporting events I've ever seen. And they went to double overtime, and Granite Bay won with about 5 seconds left in the game. And they didn't have to go to the penalty kicks, which is good. I like to keep it. So, and that was, and I see people talking about it even now. That was one of the greatest soccer games I've ever seen, and there was no scoring. It tells you how good a game was. There was no scoring right to the last few seconds of the game, actually. So it was quite the phenomenal event. And while I'm on the high school sports, I was at Oak Ridge last night, and I want to say congratulations to Ian and Nolan Book, who are related to us and were our house for Thanksgiving, and their team at the Oak Ridge football team beat Pleasant Grove last night. Going to go on and play Folsom next weekend in Sac State. So that's going to be a hell of a game.
That's going to be a great game.
So congratulations to them, and I've watched more high school sports this year. I guess that's what would happen when your kids are in high school. You would you wouldn't do that when they were in junior high. But yeah, it's been fun. It really is a lot more fun when you know someone in the game and you're kind of watching them do their thing. So it's good times. We got a lot of little things to cover today too. We'll probably give away some ski passes, get a few of them out there. I don't even have them yet, but I'm told they're on their way. And I'm sure the snow is imminent.
Sierra at Tahoe coming around again this year. That's awesome.
So if you are tuned in, I know this is an unusual day. A lot of people are on vacation still and doing their own thing. And like I was yesterday trying to get all the Halloween stuff, Thanksgiving stuff down and the Christmas stuff up. There's only like about 9 seconds between Thanksgiving and Christmas this year. You literally have a day to do your shopping. And did you get any shopping done yesterday? Anybody? I did not go out. I did do a little online shopping, very little, because there was some special things they would do, but I won't give those away because
you didn't buy your special bath towel 6-pack at Walmart?
No,
that was the Black Friday surprise hit. There was a combo pack. Walmart sold 2.8 million towel sets on Thanksgiving Day.
Wow, that's a lot of dirty people.
That's a lot.
Are they like little towels like this, or like
bath towel or washcloth 6-pack?
Well, I was going to go there
for $1.74.
$1.74
for 6.
Those towels are probably going to last a long time. A long time. I call that Kleenex, actually is what I call that. It's one and done. You just use it once and try just throw them away, throw them out.
You put those in the garage, you clean your motorcycle with.
Yeah, that won't even clean one section of the bike. Those will come apart in your hand. And who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. But that was a surprise. What is the must-have gift? I thought John was asking before the show today. What do you think people have to have their hands on? And you can always go with the Apple stuff and but I thought I saw like that for the toy. It was like a toy that was like when my kids were little kids, like Furby or the Elmo, or when one of those is coming back around again too. And that's just genius marketing. You've already developed something. You'll just resell it again and put another battery in it and make it. So I don't know what the must-have toy is. So if you are out there, I don't text me because I can't see. Maybe we can read our text. I don't know what's going on with my text line here, but you can text us at 441140. We'll read it. But give me the must-have. We'll randomly pick some winners today. Give them some round table pizza. What is it that your kids or your spouse or somebody's just got to have there? See these. Look, this is what I'm looking at, Chris. Just black screen and nothing there. Maybe I'm not even looking at the right one, but it always seems the Apple stuff and it seems convenient that my daughter dropped her old Apple phone on the ground the other day and shattered it. And I said, I could use a new one now. It's right around Christmas time. So I think I'm just going to have to walk around with a little bloody thumb for a while and get used to the Apple product in her hand. I do have some interesting news. I found this. This was great, and I hope this is maybe the truth for you too. This is out of, I don't even know where this is from. This is from last week. I'm a Teenager, Watch Me Shop. And they took out groups of teenagers, and they had different people follow them around to see what they're into. And this is good news, particularly for a guy who maybe like myself has 3 daughters, and maybe they like to shop extensively.
Just maybe,
or maybe you who has 3 kids. But the trend now, and I hope this is right for the rest of you too. The trend now is that these kids are going toward better value and cheaper gear and clothing. In fact, so much to the effect that like the Abercrombie and Fitch and those stores are really hurting because they'll go into Forever 21 or something else, and they're bargain shopping, looking for. Now I don't know whether these kids are having to spend their own money, but this is a fairly extensive article out. I guess this is out of the Wall Street Journal. Fashion change: Forever 21, H&M are eating the lunch of traditional teen retailers like Abercrombie and Fitch, American Eagle, and Aeropostale. I'm going to say that wrong. I don't know what it's called. Aeropostale. I can't shop there because I can't say it.
Dad, stay away from those stores.
Stay away from anything that has an A with a little thing over the E. But anyway, these kids, at least the kids they track down here, are looking for better value. Why buy something for $50 when I can get it for $11? And I hope that's the
that makes sense.
That's
doesn't
the
it?
trend. Well, it makes sense if it's your own money.
Yes.
But but maybe they're getting an allowance. I mean, that's what we have done for a long time. We've said, hey, here's $50. Give our daughter some credit, and that's going to include whatever you want to do. If you want to go to Starbucks, go to Starbucks. If you need to get some pants, get some clothes. So they have to make their own decision.
My 10-year-old, if you go to GameStop to buy whatever new game, the used one is $49.99, the new one's $59.99. Hands down, he does not want the used one.
How can you tell a used game versus a new game?
Can you come talk to him? Because he's like, no, I want the new one in the new package.
In the package?
And the new thing. I'm like, it comes in the same package. You save $10. It's my money. I do what I want.
Oh, if it's his...
He's 10.
Well, if it's his money... First of all, what's the thing? Where did he get his money from? But let's say it is still his money. If it's his money, then,
That's what I say.
the deal. How's that work
I don't
out?
think it's right.
How's that working out
It's
for you?
not working out so well.
Working out for you. Anyway, we got a lot of things to cover today as well, and we'll get into the conspiracy around the McRib. I know you've been worried about that. See, I had that.
It's a hot topic.
I told you. Chris, are you a McRib fan?
No.
No?
Actually, I can't say I'm not a fan. I've never had one.
See, I have not had one either, but people go crazy over this thing, and now there's a conspiracy. I use my little finger quotes. A conspiracy about the McRib and when it comes out. So we'll talk about that. I got some interesting facts about Twitter, and apparently you can't be a fat pilot anymore. That's going to change that as well. So we got a lot of things to cover today, and we'll give away some goodies, and I got some superstitions too. So we'll get into all that. Let's get our first break out of the way. Let's get in a first quiz question. Our number's here this morning. If you're out there, and that is a big if today, 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. You can text us, but I won't see it, but she'll see it in there at 44-1140. What are you going to go with this morning, you think, first? Go with your big one.
I'm going with the big one here.
Okay.
There's a Lake Tahoe home.
There's a few of them.
There's a couple of them, but this one in particular sits in Zephyr Cove.
Okay.
2,438 square feet. So modest.
Yeah.
4-bedroom, 4-bath. Sits on 2.25 acres.
So that's a big chunk of money right there.
Listed for $6.5 million.
Okay.
And it is owned by which famous baseball player? And or that baseball player's family?
Yeah, and is he, can we say a current baseball player or former baseball player?
Former baseball player.
Former baseball player. Deceased or alive?
He's deceased now.
Deceased. And he's one of the most famous baseball names around. I did not know. And when
in the Hall of Fame. He's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, you can't tell you when he bought it. They'd give it away. So
And he is a hunter. The house was laced with skins from different animals and big fish and all kinds of things. But he got he took a lot of pride in Mother Nature.
Yeah, that was bought it back in the days when you probably could hunt up there.
Yes.
I think if you whip out a gun now, you're probably going to shoot somebody at the casino. You're going to be in trouble. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. One of the most famous names in baseball. Let's just say the estate is selling the lakefront house of Zephyr Cove for $6 million.
$6.5 million.
Yeah, what's the price per foot on that? That's the 2.5 acres it'll get you.
That's right. And it's buildable with 2 more homes on the lot.
Oh, yeah, there you go. So that's going to be worth a lot.
Very unique.
So if you know the answer to that, you can give us a call, 339-1140. You can text us at 44-1140, or you can just sit there and look stupid like we do. We'll be right
back, Jack.
Talking money.
Well, alrighty then. We're back to Talkin' Money with Jeff Tarbell.
Right, we're up and running now. So our quiz question is still hanging out there a little bit. I'll give you a clue. This is a house purchased back in the 30s, John? When he bought that house?
That's right.
1930s. So Pete Rose beat the record, the baseball record of this individual. So the family is now selling the house. I have never heard that he once owned a house in Lake Tahoe.
Give you one more hint. Might be too much.
Okay.
Played for the Tigers.
Played for the Tigers, and Pete Rose beat his. He had the most hits record, right, Chris? Is that right? Yeah, number of hits. So if you know the answer to that, give you your choice: some Round Table Pizza or a ski pass to Sierra Tahoe, and we'll keep our assumption that it is going to snow and they'll open up. I've got a great article bringing up next 2 weeks. We've got a gentleman coming in to do the whole book and study on the future of the ski industry, particularly as weather starts to change. And we'll talk about that. But there's some phenomenal indoor ski places, particularly in Europe. You can go and ski all year round in Dubai and Germany and Denmark and different places like that. So before you, I know Black Friday was yesterday, but I'm sure that it will continue this week. Before you go out, take a quick listen to this. The common assumption, Black Friday, the retail illusion. The common assumption is that retailers stock up on goods all year and then mark them down what doesn't sell, taking a hit to their profits. But that isn't typically how it plays out. So, according to an article by Suzanne Kapner out of the Wall Street Journal from this week, Buyers don't seem to mind. Well, let me back up here for a minute. She marked here. Buyers research shows that shoppers often have little idea what a goods are worth. See, they don't really know what that sweater should be worth. So when they put they reference the ruffled neck cardigan sweater here at 40% off at $39.99, that sweater was never meant to sell for $68 in the first place. But stores are going based on the fact that people don't really know that that's not a $68 sweater anyway. And I find it fascinating because they quoted different people here saying, I don't even get excited until things are 40% off. And everybody thinks that, okay, the store is going to take a big hit. They bought all these things, they're not getting rid of them. If they've gone back and they figured out the stores have pretty much, they know their profit's going to be about 27% on an item. So, and that's been flat across the years. So they're not losing their money on their 40% off sale. They're either arbitrarily marking it up, or maybe like Walmart bought them in huge bulk.
Massive bulk.
Massive bulk, and had a great sale on them. And here's the funny part. Not so funny if you were from JCPenney. JCPenney decided, I want to say about a year ago, that they're no longer going to do. JCPenney decided they're no longer going to do this kind of markup and then these big sales items. They're just going to say, they kind of said, we're going to be honest with you. This is the price it costs. We're going to have our normal markup, and we're not going to play all these games with massive sales and come in and do this. We're just going to give you the bottom line pricing. And what has happened to JCPenney? They've fallen through the floor. It has killed them. I mean, it has killed JCPenney's business. So their truth in advertising, or they're just, I'll give you the bottom line price, which really is what Walmart, I thought that was their gig, was, they got sued for the lowest prices, but lower prices all the time. I mean, if people go to Walmart thinking, okay, look, this is the bottom line on the price. I mean, there's no use kind of shopping around. And even they have some sales. Right. But retailers like JCPenney that tried to get out of the game, which is basically this markup and discount, have gotten punished severely. And so it's interesting. Retailers including Best Buy and Walmart and Macy's are warning this will be an unusually competitive holiday season, and the deals could hurt margins. So I think that's just for the newspaper.
Well, they're trying to meet up with online margins too.
Yeah, that's true, and that is going to be an issue for them. But I still contend that the people that are out on Fridays are not necessarily. I mean, they're out looking for good deals, but they like that experience. They like that hand-to-hand combat. Some of these places you see on TV, they want to be out there
combating.
Look what I got. I got the first towel, and I got everything else too. So
give me that.
But when you look at the sweater today, if you're out shopping and it says 50% off, you big dummy. It was never $100 to begin with. It was always at $50, but whatever. So that's part of the game, I guess. And if we fall for it, then so be it. And we'll see. We'll see what happens. Speaking of sales and marketing and getting the customer to do what you want to do, the McRib. This is I showed this to John. He said, "Where do you find this stuff? What is wrong with you?" The McRib, which is one of the most people, if you just Google McRib one time, and you'll find pure vitriol. People either hate McDonald's for this thing, or they absolutely cannot wait for it to come back. And I thought that was funny that McDonald's is their only oblong offering. McDonald's can make food into whatever shape it wants: squares, nuggets, flurries. Why bother creating a need for a McRib, which is basically a pork sandwich that's made to look like it's came off the grill or something. But the conspiracy theorists say, why does a McRib come and go? Why is their timing so unique? Is that McDonald's is sitting in the back. The theory that the McRib's elusiveness is a direct result of the vagaries of the cash price for hog meat in the states in the states is simple. The product is only introduced when pork prices are low enough to ensure McDonald's can turn a profit on the product. The theory is especially convincing given the McRib status as the only non-breakfast fast food pork item. Why wouldn't there be a pork sandwich in every chain? There would be if it were profitable. So they're just simply sitting back, waiting for pork prices to go down. They buy a whole bunch of it, and then here comes the McRib. Prices go back up. So McDonald's probably could move the market.
And I think typically it seems to come out in the fall, I read somewhere.
So maybe our pork prices down in the summer?
Possibly, or fall season, everybody wants to bulk up on some pork.
Is that what it is? I've been bulking up all year. I decided I'm going to make sure that I don't freeze at any time during the year.
I always tell Justine, I'm on another growing spurt here.
You're the perfect weight if you were only 6'7".
Exactly.
Yeah. I find that interesting. Speaking of bulking up, this is you do see a fair amount of fat pilots, I guess. And I'm talking about commercial pilots now. So the FAA came out last week, and they're concerned about U.S. obesity epidemic has now moved into the airplane cockpits, and they're not worried about the pilot weighing too much or not being able to fit in the seat and steer the plane. They're worried about the fact that the pilot is so fat that he can't sleep at night. He has sleep apnea, so by the time he comes to the job, he or she, I guess I'm referring to he, but the pilot comes to the job. They haven't slept well at night, and they are so exhausted from their sleep apnea that they cannot function properly. So I guess it's only fair that we have they have issues now in the back of the plane. So if you can't fit in your seat, you got to buy 2 seats. So I guess they're going to make the pilot now fit in his or her seat and make sure they're going to sleep properly. Now I don't know how many crashes you can identify to fat pilot non-sleepage, but maybe there is, and it just hasn't hit the airwaves yet. But I haven't read that.
I think that'd be a tough one there.
I haven't read that.
Pushing it a little bit,
but it's possible. For private or weekend pilots, especially, the impact could be dramatic. In 2011, the FAA identified about 125,000 pilots who are considered obese. Now, so I guess they're not talking about just commercial pilots. So if you are just generally overweight and not sleeping well, you're not going to be able to get behind your Cessna or your 747. So what do you're going to have to go through, instead of going through screening like looking for guns and weapons, now they're going to go through screening for body fat. We'll put you in a thing of water.
Put a caliper on you.
if you can pinch more than an inch, you're not getting in the plane or in the back. Here, well, welcome to the art. Can you drive a train or a bus? Will they allow overweight people to drive any sort of instrument? So anyway, excess weight increases the risk of some sleeping disorders. I don't know. I sleep like a baby, and I could lose a few pounds, as pointed out by our phone screener there the other day. So there you go. Let me know what your thoughts are on the fat phone not the fat phone screen, but the fat pilots, and or I don't know. I don't know how they're going to make this work, but they're on it. In a statement Wednesday, the AOPA estimated the cost of extra testing for pilots between $100 and $374 million a year for testing pilots for just issues like that. So,
how much?
In a statement Wednesday, the Pilots Association estimated the cost of extra testing for pilots between $99 million and $374 million over several years, just to test them for sleep apnea and for the weight. More money to have a BMI test. All pilots with a BMI over 40 and a neck circumference of 17 inches or more will have to be examined. Hey, Chris, bring me do you have a tape measure in there? No? I know your neck's more than 17 inches. You're not flying anywhere. And I don't know. What size? My neck might be over 17.
When's the last time you bought
a collared shirt? Why leave the collar open? Are they talking about the collar closed or the collar open? I think my neck is over 17 inches.
Probably.
I know. My brain isn't over 17 inches, but my neck is. And a BMI over 40. See, that whole BMI, the whole thing is a scam. Because everybody in the doctor's office is obese compared to that scale.
Oh, yeah. I look at that chart all the time. Yeah, obese.
I'm just not the right height. I'm the proper weight. I'm the wrong height. I should be in the NBA. Okay, we've got to take a break. So we've got McRibs and obese flyers and pilots, and this is going nowhere quick.
That's right. So
we're going nowhere quick.
So maybe, just maybe, that whole weight thing is in your genes, potentially. So the second quiz question, not your genes.
What?
Anyway, so the second quiz question of the day, we're not talking about genes you wear. We're talking about in your genetic genes.
That's part of my weight problem is in my genes.
So there's a company out there, 23andMe. The genetic testing companies that are out there. Yep. You take a little swab, send it in.
Do they tell you if you're fat?
99. I think they tell you everything. I mean, there's everything wrong.
You're going to die from all of the following items.
Right.
Okay.
And U.S. regulators have ordered this genetic testing company to stop their marketing of their mail-in order. And so the question is regarding this company actually out there, who is one of the major, or who is a major backer of this company? And
they advertise like crazy.
Yes. And
they were forced to stop?
Well, they're trying to force them to stop. Apparently, they've changed their marketing to do it differently.
Now it's 24andMe. Right. That's a different company. Like 7-minute abs. We're going to do 6-minute abs. And by the way, if you are answering these quiz questions on the text, please put in your name and your phone number if you want us to call you back, because we don't have a way to contact you. So you have to put that in the message, or just give us your address, and we'll just send you the information out too. So I know our Ty Cobb winner from the 916-505. If you want to give us a text back, we will give you your choice of Sierra Tahoe ski pass or some Round Table pizza. The skiing part of it will help you become a pilot because you'll continue to drop weight. So make sure you give us at least your phone number if we can call you back, or not, your full name and address if you want to text us. So 23andMe is owned by, in fact, wasn't one of the founders married to somebody fairly wealthy?
Yes.
Was married or is married but not married?
Living separately.
And how would you like to divorce him?
Absolutely.
I would marry and divorce him next to Oprah. If Oprah doesn't work out,
He's next.
I'm going after him. Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's enough money there. We could work it out. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. You can text us at 441140. 23andMe is owned in part by this company. And doesn't that, we'll talk about when we come back, that doesn't surprise me a damn bit. They know everything about us already, and now they want to know our spit too. That's it. See? It's all a conspiracy.
It's all a conspiracy.
339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. You can text us at 441140. This is Talkin' Money. That's Mr. Aloha. You don't even look like you had. Did you get any sun?
A little bit.
What did you see? Did you lay out in the sun?
No, I just jumped off cliffs and swam in the water and hid underneath the bar.
You're Italian. You already look tan. A white guy like me burned quick. You'll know I was in the sun. This is Talkin' Money. We'll be right back.
And we're back to Talkin' Money. And here's Jeff Tarbell.
Oh, it must have been easier than Ty Cobb.
A little bit.
How you doing? Welcome back. This is Talkin' Money. Jeff Tarbell, John Poderero. We are last little segment of the day. Our quiz question before the break was this company 23andMe. And talk about a name that doesn't maybe 23 is the 23 different characteristics they give you. How did they come up with that name? It doesn't really tell you what they do, but anyway, they are owned in big part by, the lady who's, does she start the company?
Wajicki, yep.
Okay, so she's married to somebody who has got a few bucks.
Sergey Brin.
Okay, so he owns a small company called
Google.
So they put in a bunch of money, and no, those two they're on the fritz there, you're saying?
They're outs.
So there you go. So how much money do you, I'm not.
They say he's worth $22.8 billion.
Okay, well.
So she'll get probably enough.
Yeah.
Got your answer?
Yeah, answer.
23andMe.
No, Google's the answer.
I know.
Okay, go ahead.
23 chromosomes in the human body.
Oh, see, this is why I skipped science. I skipped a lot of classes clearly, but that was one of them. So 23 chromosomes, so they can tell you what's all up in you, or what's going to cause you to come. And I guess that's the problem, is that you get back to these things saying you could be susceptible to this or this or this, and all of a sudden you're running around doing all these tests for things that you probably never have. I have like a super sore thumb. I'm not sure which chromosome's doing that, but it's killing me.
It could have been the hammer that hit it.
It didn't hit a hammer. That's the problem. Look, it's got a line right down the center of it. Looks like it says, ouch. See? So anyway, he's going to, they're not getting along together. So 23andMe owned in part, but who else was, there was another couple of companies that were in there. Was it Johnson?
Johnson & Johnson.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So a few number of big companies had some.
Mostly Google, Johnson & Johnson, among some of the other investors. But, obviously Miss Wajicki, married to Sergey Brin, no longer living together. She started this company, and she's a Yale graduate with some good background as far as investing in healthcare. Very
intelligent and attractive person. So and probably going to be fairly wealthy here pretty quick if she wasn't already. So I don't understand how. Why can't you sell me information about myself? And maybe it's the claims that they're making that this will be. I don't understand what the problem is. Maybe they're just putting regular doctors and hospitals out of doing their own testing, because I don't know what the problem is. If you can,
or you go with the fact that you don't really want to know what might kill you.
But that's none of your damn business. If I want to spend $99 and have them tell me what my 23 chromosomes are doing, I should. What's the problem? So I guess, is it the FDA that shut them down? Did it say?
U.S. regulators, it says, see if I can find it here. The FDA said that the company doesn't have proper clearance to market the DNA testing kit and that 23andMe hasn't sufficiently worked with the agency to secure such approval.
Okay. Whatever.
Big Brother watching again.
They haven't paid enough taxes is what that comes down to.
Is that what that means?
Yeah. Speaking of Big Brother, so did you see this week we are going to, in fact, get out of General Motors. Government Motors will be coming to an end. We, as taxpayers, spent $50 billion initially. That's with a B, $50 billion initially. If the sale price goes off at the current price of $38.12 a share, we will have recouped just shy of about $40 billion. We have lost $10 billion on the General Motors savior. So would you do it again? Would you throw $10 billion into save GM? And we spent 50, we got 40 back. By comparison, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, which on a much, much bigger scale in terms of the $10 trillion U.S. home loan market, Fannie and Freddie had billions and billions and billions of dollars, much more money than General Motors put into it. And I believe that by year end, and I don't have the final breakdown in front of me, I believe by year end, Fannie and Freddie will have recouped every penny that they put into that was put into them to recover the losses. That doesn't mean, by the way, that there still wasn't a major mess up. I mean, every single bank has lost billions of dollars, and I'll go into the Morgan and J.C. Morgan Chase in a minute. But so there's been tremendous amounts of loss by private companies. But as far as government bailout, Fannie and Freddie will have actually come clean, got their money back, and in fact will be turning a profit. Well, they're turning a profit quarterly, but it'll be a net profit very soon. So much so that, early on, most people believe that Fannie and Freddie would be turned private. So a lot of people started investing in stock in Fannie and Freddie, hoping that this last quarter here, the government would either privatize them or do something to kind of recapitalize them. The federal government came out this week and said, we're not going to do that, meaning we're not going to share our profits. We already been, and you know what? Part of me doesn't blame them. I mean, they're protecting you and I, the U.S. taxpayer. We put up all the money to bail Fannie and Freddie out. We got our money back. We're going to start earning a profit. I don't think we should be in a huge hurry to turn that cash cow over. You know darn well the federal government needs something that makes money. We don't have a lot of things that make net profit that are government expenditures, but Fannie and Freddie are turning a profit. So they're going to be held by the government for a while here again before they're turned back over to some sort of a private entity.
And I think it's a good idea because you got to think, what is the next step with all the different regulations coming out, news coming out, and it might not be as good as it's been the last few years.
Well, it may not be, but why are they making money right now? They're making money because, well, in part the market has turned around, so they're not losing as much money in terms of losses and claims, right? So that helped a lot. But also they're making money because Fannie and Freddie loans are a whole lot better loan now. And so you're getting, and on top of all that, you add in the increased fees that Fannie, put in the G fees and different things like that too. So they're making more money per transaction. We've got better transactions. I mean, ask anybody, raise your hand out there. Have you done a refinance loan or a purchase loan in the last 2 years? Did you feel like, it was a colonoscopy, like you went through the 23andMe 23 times over? Yeah, I mean,
absolutely.
You are not going to get a loan unless your ducks are in a row. That translates down the line to loans that don't go into default, people that make their payments, people that pay off early. I mean, these are good loans. So it's going to be, we've gone through hopefully the bad part, the worst part, and we should now start to see some of the good loans, paying as they should, and people are paying a little higher fees. They don't know it. And the fees aren't going to your mortgage broker or your mortgage banker. They're going to Fannie and Freddie, the additional fees. But I do think you're going to see these two come together. I think that there will be a agency, a combination of a Fannie and a Freddie down the line. It'll be one agency that kind of sets the rules. You're going to have all these new rules coming out in January, qualified mortgages, ability to repay, all these terms that are going to become very common to you very quick. There's going to be kind of one agency that sets the standard. And then you'll have FHA. Then you're going to have a whole new wave of private companies, investors, your Penny Macs, your different entities that come out and say, you know what, we want to pick up everything that the agency doesn't want. And by the way, if you're self-employed and you've got great credit and we can prove that you're making money, but maybe your IRS tax returns aren't, as strong as they need to be, I can assure you there'll be a stated income product again. I assure you there'll be something that is creative again. And I don't mean like the crap that we had.
Yeah, it won't be just breathe in a mirror and show us your credit score.
No, I don't mean that, hey, I'm a teacher and, I state that I'm making $20,000 a month when I'm really making $6,000. Not that stuff. I'm talking about common sense. You're going to put down 35% down, or you're going to have phenomenal credit. We're going to look at your bank statements. We're going to see money is coming into your accounts. What you do with it is, that's going to come back. Now, it isn't going to be at 4.5% like the agency loan. It's going to be at 5.25%. It's going to have a little bit of a premium to it, but there'll be the ability to get other types of loans. And so everybody says, it's the world's going to come to an end when rates go back up. When the rates go back up, well, refinancing people's 3% mortgages is going to come to an end. But there's going to be a whole another wave of people that are interested in making you loans that not at 3.5%, but at 5.5%. They can't get it a lot of other places. It'll bring them back in the market,
which is still a phenomenal rate. Huge.
Yeah, it's going to take a little bit of time. So anyway, the Fannie and Freddie deal is going to stay in the government's hand for a little bit. I don't know if you caught this, but J.P. Morgan Chase, Bear Stearns, Washington Mutual have all had some settlements. Chase had one of the biggest ones in history, I think, in this last 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago,
yeah.
And it's pretty interesting because if you just read on the surface, you just think, well, boy, and I'm just reading an article. I'm sure this goes across the board, but I kind of thought, okay, they just got caught with some bad loans, and some different things happened, and B of A bought Countrywide, which is probably in hindsight one of the worst business errors in history. But things happen, loans go bad. But you look at some of the news that kind of comes out in terms of how, at least this refers to how J.P. Morgan, Bear Stearns, and Washington Mutual bundled their mortgages into. So they took mortgages from all over the place, put them into a big bundle, and they sold it to investors. And you could buy mortgage-backed securities, and you thought you were getting a kind of a Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac type of a loan. But they had reviewers that went through the loan products, and they assigned the loan in 3 categories, and they didn't tell the people who were buying these mortgage-backed securities, oh, by the way, this is what is included. And listen to the 3 categories. So event number 1, this is what you thought you were getting, right? Loan met underwriting guidelines. So basically, when they sell a pool of loans, you want to invest in them. They say, okay, these are 30-year fixed. Their credit scores of 700 plus. They're owner occupied. There's some kind of characteristic to it. So you can make a decision and say, okay, 700 plus is good credit. Okay, their primary residences. Okay, that's good. People don't walk away from. Okay, so I get what that is. So you won't earn as much higher rate because it's kind of a lower risk. But what was mixed in there, which they don't tell you, and this is why the fines come out, was event 2 was in there. Loan didn't meet the guidelines, but had other factors to justify the loan. Okay, so I'm willing to allow that an underwriter, an intelligent underwriter, can look at a file and they can look at Chris's file and they're say, okay, Chris doesn't have the greatest credit, but you know what? He put down 45%, and he's got great reserves. So is that any less risk or more risky than the guy who put down 5%? So they make some determination. And then there was event 3. This is, I think, what got him in trouble. The loan flunked all guidelines and couldn't be salvaged with offsetting factors, which basically mean it was a garbage loan, and it got through. And so you buy this pool of what you think is nice, clean loans, and you got event 1, 2, and 3. You got good, bad, and indifferent in the file. And that is really what got, it says in 2006, 2007, J.P. Morgan waived the event 3 score on some loans. Managers also ordered bulk waivers. So basically what they said was, don't even let us look at these files. Just put them in the group. I don't even want to see them.
Yeah, get rid of them.
Yeah, so they put them in, get them out of here. So shaky loans wound up in bonds sold to investors who weren't told they were getting a big load of junk. And that is what got them in trouble, big time trouble. So kind of interesting as we look backwards now and look into the...
What was that fine that they got received?
Yeah, I don't. Do you have it?
$13 billion. $13 billion, and it's earmarked for a variety of different things. Some is for recapture, some is for repayment. $2 billion used for principal reductions for borrowers, $2 billion worth for some other assistance. It just goes on and on and on. California will receive $299 million, which is a small piece for some of their wrongdoings. The list goes on. And of course, a big chunk of the $13 billion deal can be deducted by the bank.
Well, it's a loss. I mean, it's an income loss. And here's my question is always, so California's going to get $300 million. Where does that money go? Now, if you followed, there was an interesting thing on the news last week, and we were talking, there was a little, I think Kevin Johnson had a little presentation somewhere downtown. They were showing some homeowners that got into homes with a program called the LIFT, L-I-F-T. And the LIFT program was available in the city of Sacramento only. And basically it was a $15,000 additional down payment you could use. You still had to come up with your own money for down payment and closing, but you could use it for additional down payment, which was kind of cool because if you, let's say you no matter what, you couldn't afford more than $185,000, this allowed you to get to a $200,000 house, and there was no repayment for it, and there was no recapture for it, assuming you met all the criteria. And it was a great program. They were the funny part is they were touting this program on TV, only to find out they were out of money.
Right.
But what I found interesting was that the TV show said, "Oh, and Wells Fargo so graciously put up the money," and I laughed and and I said, "Well, Wells Fargo didn't graciously put up the money. Wells Fargo was fined in a similar manner to this, and the money was used for the LIFT program, as I understand it."
Yes.
Now, that's what I call a good use of a fine. I mean, if Wells Fargo had a settlement, and they all did, I'm not singling Wells Fargo, but that was one program you could actually see hit the street, and you actually could see that people actually got something out of it and were able to use it to better themselves for future homes. So hopefully,
right,
$300 million that comes out of a Chase settlement or other things like that will actually come down to true programs where somebody actually sees the money. And it doesn't just get buried in a general fund of the state of something. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Those probably getting near the end of these. I mean, some of the big guys are pretty close to being. I mean, we're running out of big guys. We got to get down to the little players now. We're down to the John Fod Fund. Here's
that one's empty too.
Here's $85. Go get yourself a burger. So that is it for
a McRib sandwich.
You could get a few McRibs for $85. I think. I didn't even get into the Twitter stuff. I'll talk about this next week. You want to have an incredible Twitter following? I'll give you the easy way to do it. Twitter's not so happy about that either. And I'm also going to talk about some year-end tax things and also some credit things next week. So I got a few things to talk about next Saturday as well. That music means we got to wrap it up. You can find us during the week at johnfod.com or jefftarbell.com. This show is rebroadcast. Why you'd want to hear it again, I have no idea. But if you did, it's on the Talkin Money Facebook page. We'll see you next Saturday, everybody. Pray for snow and get out there and stimulate the economy. We'll see you. Aloha.
Talkin' money.